How's it going, guys? Tyrant here, and I finished watching episode 3 of season 3 of Overlord. And so, next week's episode is going to be freaking amazing, to say the least. But this episode is an Enri episode, and you know what? For a story centric episode, it wasn't that bad. I actually really enjoyed it. Because Enri has been one of these characters that she's been sprinkled here and there, but this is like her expansion. And the way everyone treats her is like finally like established, and it's really amazing because she doesn't understand how she's been given such responsibility and doesn't know how to take it, and it's really fun just to watch her. Just seeing how the goblins, like in the last couple episodes, you've seen how the goblins respect her and they will follow her and do anything for her, and she just plays it off. And then just kind of how when she goes to the city of Entrel, I think that's pronounced correctly, she is kind of harassed by the militia there and the guards, and she's like, I'm just here to sell some medicine and stuff, but she's being harassed and shit, and then she knows that the horn that some of the goblins is a special, like a very expensive um uh like item, and like, why do you have it? But then Ainz, disguised as Momon, is like, yeah. At first she's like, oh fuck, how do I know your name, but give me a second. And you're like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, no, you're free to go, Then he influences everything. And what's funny is he's like, throughout the episode, it feels that like Ainz' influence is everywhere. For the most part, it is there. Like, it might not be him for the most part always doing it, but he has influence in the world now, and Enri's a byproduct of that. And for his people to make it his plan to succeed, they will do anything that they feel is right. And having Crane Village succeed is one of, for them, a thing that they has to do. And it's funny because every time like Enri's like getting trying to get help from the adventurers, but they're like, nah, it's going to cost you a lot of money, but we'll see how much. And the receptionist is like, give us a second, a few minutes later, like, oh wait, tell us more, what's gonna happen now. Like, chill, I know, and everything. And it's funny because she's what's funny is that the joke is that she doesn't understand how she has to take care of all these very powerful people around her, and it's a very same correlation to how Ainz is, and it's funny how they transition. I was hoping Ainz was gonna like do a sneeze like they're talking about, but it's not like, huh? But I like that. It worked. It was funny, and yeah. Uh, but what is happening? What is happening? So in the beginning, the little goblin boy explains that ever since the the wise king of the forest left the area, and the rise of Ainz' second place, the wooden place where they fought the lizardmen place, the other two kings of the forest, uh, because there was like the three powerful was the wise king, which is Hamskay right now, or is Kamsky. The other two are joining forces to kind of destroy the undead. And they're gonna die, everything, but that's gonna put Crane Village in peril. So like, oh, we gotta defend ourselves. And what's cool is, I forgot to skip this scene, is that some ogres decide to join and everything. And if you remember in season 1, and you see this in this episode, these ogres are like giant things, and like, oh shit. And Enri's all there scared and everything, like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? And like, bow your heads, and like, oh, yes, little master. And like, it's really hilarious, and it's really fun. That's what you want from this, because some of the story episodes, it's like just talking and talking, but this one was just fun to watch, and I'm glad that they did it. And um, uh, but what's good is it's leading to something. It's all these these episodes are always leading to something. It can be really frustrating for some people, but I think this episode did a really good job in exploring Enri a little bit and her situation and everything, and just being really comical and enjoyable to watch. And then she just becomes the village chief at the end after a little bit of persuading from the chief, um, from fuck, what's that kid's name? Uh, Emil? Fuck, what's the pharmacist's name? I can't remember his name at the moment. But anyways, that kid. And a little chit chat with I think her name was Lapis? Luca. I can't remember her name. The werewolf chick. Now, she shows up a little bit. She did show up last week's episode. She's the little playful like girl, the redhead, and overall I like her character. But we get to see a very interesting side of her in this episode. She kind of you can see it, and if you watch all the way until the end credits of this thing, you can tell and know what kind of character she is. And this is what makes this interesting. So what we find out is as she's just seeing the village from the sky and everything, that she for the most part she's like, oh yes, the new time for a new leader, blah 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 blah, new history chip. But she can't wait for it to get completely destroyed. You know, like demolished, like everyone loses hope and shit. She is a complete sadist, and that explains a lot, like a lot of her character, and it's great because I love that they're expanding on also some of the other characters. Because yes, this is an Enri episode, but we get to see a very deep side, for the most part. Because if you go back and watch it again and knowing her character, you can tell things now. And if you didn't already pick up on it, then because for me, I didn't know, so it was always just playful, childish thing. But she's just being like sadistic, and it's great. So I'm gonna be wondering. I'm actually wondering what's gonna be playing out with this episode and how it's gonna relate, because they need Crane. No, they don't need it, but Crane Village is a staple right now. So I'm wondering what's gonna happen during this whole fight, because they're not gonna get Ainz to help. They have somehow agreed for some adventurers to come, but I don't know. They this is what's gonna be interesting. I want to know how it's gonna happen. I want to know, and I think the Lupus. I gotta remember her name. I think she'll play an important role in this, so it's gonna be really interesting to see. But yeah, that's kind of it. I really enjoyed this episode for being a story non-actionish episode. Uh, yeah, that's kind of it really. If I glossed over something, sorry. If you did, just leave it in the comments. Let me know what you guys thought about the episode. Um, but yeah, I can't wait for next week. I actually enjoyed this one. It's probably another episode I'll probably rewatch. Because it's just a fun episode just to watch. So, thanks again for watching. Until next time, see ya.